Hi guys, and welcome back to Bookhaven with me, Kim. Today I'll be discussing my TBR for the month of February and all the excellent buddy reads and challenges and readathons that are going on that I'll be participating in, so stick around. So welcome back. I am so excited to be back. I did have to skip one day this week because life happens, but here we are. And February is going to be an incredible month. It seems like BookTube has just exploded. We've got so many readathons, we've got the BooktubeGames, Games, we've just got a lot of things going on. And if you're looking to interact with other booktubers this month, there is so much to choose from. So in the month of February, I'm going to be participating in 5 different events through different people on BookTube. First off, I'm going to be doing AG's Book of the Month. I will link all the information down below with all the different things I'm mentioning so that you have the official links and announcements. I don't believe AG Macdonald has made the announcement for which book was chosen for the AG Book of the Month. You can find on Twitter. It looked like it might have been leaning towards Nevermore, but don't quote me on that. So first off, I'll be doing whatever book they select. You can check that out and see what ends up being selected on his Twitter. I'm sure he'll probably make an announcement on YouTube. And next is the BooktubeGames, which have just exploded all over Twitter, all over BookTube. Basically, you've got a ton of really great booktubers participating in this. I don't know all of them, but the one that is leading it is Little Wolf Reads. It's Mayona, I believe, and I'll link all the information down below. But the last time I checked, there were over 400 people participating in this, and there's different challenges. I think there's 4 or 5 main challenges, and basically you pick a group to go in, and within the first 5 days, I think each group has a book picked already and that everyone will be trying to read together. So the book that is in my group, which is Derry, Maine, and we're totally gonna kick ass, is Renegades. This is a book that's been on my shelf for a long time, on my TBR, and I'm very excited to finally get to it. I don't remember a whole lot about it because I picked it up quite a while ago, but I just remember it popping up all over BookTube and people loving it and it being one of their favorite reads, so I'm really excited to read this. I'll have other books that I'm reading through other booktuber challenges that will also be part of my Booktube Games TBR. They're all sort of just going to come together because there's quite a few challenges that you can mix and match. And then next, I'm super excited to have my very first buddy read with Triumphal Reads. Go check him out. He has a really interesting selection of nonfiction and historical books, and also fantasy. He's just into a lot of interesting things. And we picked The Raven Master to read together. This I was going to read in January, but when we talked about reading it together, I thought I'd push it off into February. And it's my one and only nonfiction read for the month, so I'm kind of happy to have this in my TBR for February. We've got another bunch of great booktubers hosting something called vaLITines. You get it? vaLIT, like literature. And that is being hosted with Kate, Sarah, Leah. I'll link their YouTubes down below. But I got my information from Kate at Chapter Kate, and I'll be participating in 2 of their challenges basically, or in 2 of their events. First one is the Bookish Cupid, which is really fun because I was so disappointed that I missed out on all the Christmas Secret Santa stuff. And so Bookish Cupid is basically where you're going to be matched up with someone and you have to send each other your very favorite book. So for my TBR, that will be mystery book here, whoever I get matched up with. And then there's the Buddy Read Roulette, which is another thing. You're going to be matched up with someone, paired through their system, you enter your information, and you will pick a book to buddy read. So that's pretty cool to have 2 buddy reads coming at me in February, but again, mystery book, haven't been paired up yet. Next we've got Books with Friends, which was created by Common Spence and Chloe from Books with Chloe. They're co-hosting it together, and the book they chose to do this month was one that's been sitting on my shelves for so long, and I know most of you have already read it, or a lot of you read it, but that is 6 of Crows by, is it Leigh Bardugo? Yes, by Leigh Bardugo. This is so many people's, again, top 10, top 5, whatever, favorite book. Even people that I know here where I live, they just rave about this book. I'm very excited to get into it. I love Leigh Bardugo's work in the Grisha universe, so this should be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be listening to an audiobook by Maggie Stiefvater, is The Scorpio Races. I have read a little bit of her work before, but had never tried this book, and have also been told that the writing and the story is just phenomenal, so I'll be trying that through audiobook. And I've got another 2 question marks coming at me. I know I have 2 arcs that I promised to read that I'm just waiting on to come in any day now, and those I have to be done in February, so you'll eventually see what those are, but for now it's question mark number like 4 and 5. I know I've got quite a few of them right now. And for books that aren't specifically chosen for any of these challenges yet, but that will land on my Booktube Games, TBR, and just generally fall into all these different readathons, I'm reading right now, I'm not sure if it's a middle grade or a YA, it's Airborne by Kenneth Opel, which is a Canadian author who writes, I think, mostly middle grade and YA. I'm very excited to get into it. I was really drawn to it just because it seemed a little, I don't know if it's steampunky, but it has, airships and pirates and an adventure, so I'm really curious to see where this story goes. And some of you might know this author by a middle grade book that came out, I think last year was it, called Inkling, and it was getting a lot of hype, so I'll try out the author's work in this and see if I want to continue on and looking at different works he has come out with. Then I've got Torch Against the Night by Sabati Hare. This is an Ember in the Ashes novel, number 2, I believe, and I haven't been in this series for a good 6 months now, so I'm really looking forward to kind of refreshing my mind on the characters and getting back into this world, into the story, and see what's going on. Then I've got Wolf by Ryan Groudon. I haven't seen a whole lot of booktubers talk about it. Maybe that's because I've only been in the booktube world for under a year now, more or less, but this is basically a book, I think, about this girl who is in a world where Hitler won the war, and I think she's going into a competition where she's racing, and the prize is to meet Hitler, and her goal is to take him out and to kill him. So this is supposed to be an excellent book from what I've heard, and Ryan Groudon has a pretty big following, very popular author, so we'll see where I stand on this book. And last but not least, I've got 3 middle grade books that I'm going to try and get to. First is A Snicker of Magic by Natalie Lloyd. I might have mentioned this in some other videos. I've been wanting to read this for quite a few months, and one of the arcs I'm waiting on is also by Natalie Lloyd, so I have to get through this one first. Sounds very sort of urban fantasy, maybe? I'm not quite sure. It's about a girl and her mom that move into this town who used to have magic and don't anymore, and I have a feeling she helps them recover it somehow. I don't know, we'll see, but the cover is very colorful, fantastical, and makes me want ice cream, so looking forward to that. Then we've got Cryptid Hunters by Roland Smith. Now this is one of the books where they say do not judge a book by its cover. Gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of the cover art, but the story plot has me hooked. It's about 2 kids who are extremely intelligent, I think around the age of 12, 13, I'm not sure, it's twins. Anyways, they might have just lost their parents, and they discover an uncle they never knew they had who is a cryptozoologist, and he basically searches for animals that have not been proven, animals or creatures that have not been proven to exist, like mermaids, yetis, Bigfoot, and they end up going on quite the adventure with him by mistake in the Congo, and that's all I know about it, but so far I'm really enjoying the writing. I just started it. Then I have Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand. This is an author, I have read some of her works before. I think it was the Stockhill Girls I read. Wasn't a huge fan of, but didn't hate it. And I heard such amazing things about this book. Again, I think it's like an urban fantasy or magical realism. All I know, I think there's a girl and she ends up, I don't know if it was at her grandparents', and she has some sort of diary. I might be getting this wrong. Something, she writes down a story about this forest that's out there, and then one day she discovers that the stories that she's been writing down or hearing are actually real, so there's some sort of fantastical twist in it, and and I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm not sure if there's a mental health aspect to it, but I've heard that it's beautiful and heartbreaking all at once, and that is absolutely perfect for February, month of Valentine's Day. Never really been a huge fan of Valentine's Day. I think it's very, there's too much consumerism, and I think it's way nicer to show people that you care about on any given day when they're not expecting it. There's so much going on this month in the booktube world with all these things, all the buddy reads and the challenges, so that will be a really great distraction. And also I'm really looking forward to meeting and talking to other booktubers and just book lovers. Here's where you can tell I'm not great with technology, but there is a link to something called an app called Discord, I don't know, and it's where all the people taking part in the Booktube Games could chat, and I thought that was really neat. I was like, ooh, chatting with people that love books, I'm in. So many things to be excited about. One last thing that I totally forgot about, and it's going to be a really special video coming out around Valentine's Day. My husband, again, is going to be back and working his magic. I'm actually kind of terrified. We're doing something called the Truffle Shuffle. I don't know if that rings any bells.
First you gotta do the Truffle Shuffle. Come on!
But it'll be a special video coming out, and I'm a little bit worried, but I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. I'm worried for me. If you are entered into any of these challenges or read-alongs or readathons that I've mentioned, I'd love to hear from you down below. And if you have liked any of this content, remember to subscribe and like this video. And until next time, keep reading. Bye guys!